Hello, everybody, and today we're going to talk about culling and moving your projects along faster, whether you're shooting weddings or portraits or families or pets or just your own personal work. So, the software that we use is by Camera Bits and it's called PhotoMechanics. So, we've been using this product for a number of years now to help with culling and just getting all that editing done super fast and to get all the images into Lightroom and start editing and get those over to the clients. So what you want to do is create an account here, and then once you create your account, go ahead and go into the photo matrix icon here on the left and just do a quick tutorial just to see how it is, see if you like it. We love it, it's great, and we always refer this to other photographers that are looking to just get that culling down as soon as possible because Lightroom, as we know, um, takes a long time when you're loading those full raw images if you are shooting full raw, um, and just to process them and get you going. So that's a little bit of a hiccup. So to bypass that, we use PhotoMechanics, and then I'll give you guys a quick tutorial on how it works and how fast this product works. So once you're done with your account and then you've taken a look at the tour of PhotoMechanics, what you want to do is once you're ready to go, pull the trigger, launch it, and then once you're done with the install is pretty simple. All you do is click yes, 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 agree to all their terms, and then place a shortcut wherever it's easiest for you to launch the application. For me, I keep everything down in my toolbar because I use a Mac, and so it's easier for me to access everything that I use on a daily basis. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is launch PhotoMechanics. And then boom. Okay, now so PhotoMechanics opens and it gives you this single pane kind of view. I'm sure you can do any kind of editing that you want to view here, but I'm just going to keep it simple with the pane that I use. So I go over to the navigator and I have a list of my drives and a list of documents. Now this pulls up from your computer where it would assume that you would keep most of your files, depending on if you have something attached to a Dropbox or in your downloads and your documents. But in this case, I'm going to use one of my drives, which is my 2019 6 terabyte external uh, here on the left. And this is how I do my naming convention. So I use weddings as 0, engagements as 1, and then so forth and so on. So maternity is 5, senior session 6, miscellaneous 7. So 2 and 3 are just different things that might be there that I haven't figured out what I wanted to name those yet. But in any case, so I'm just going to show you guys how I use it. So I'm going to go down here. We took a family trip to Arizona, and all our raw files are inside this folder. So boom, pops up super quick. As you can tell, it just pulls up kind of like a temporary file just for viewing. So that way you can look at the files and then decide which ones you want to use for editing. So in this case, I'm going to use the files that we took from our family vacation. And if you take a look here, it gives you different icons when you roll over your image. You have your rotations, and then it can give you information on each image. So if you click the magnifying glass, this opens up another window, and then this begins your culling process. So we'll go to the first image here, and you can see all your images. If you just scroll down, you see all the images from your raw files or whatever the folder is that you selected over here on the left side. And then you get the full view here. And then up here, this allows you, if you want, you can go to the next image, back and forth, or you can add more images in there. You can rotate it, get the info, do a quick photo edit if you want, and which is really cool about this, because if you do a quick edit here, this captures it, and then once you import this particular file over into Lightroom, those settings will be there. So if you're just doing something quick, like a quick color balance or quick crop or something like that, then you can do it this way. Then you can also compare images. You can also throw it away, and then you can look at your viewing pane if you want to do side by side, vertical, horizontal, and then you can bring images in if you want or expand them out. So this gives you all the information here. On the right side, you can do some cropping. Same thing, if you crop anything in here, it'll keep that data and it'll transfer it into Lightroom, so the image will already be cropped. So this already saves you time if you need to fix images with the horizon lines or cropping. But in this case, I'm not going to do any cropping, so I'm just going to turn it off. And what I'm going to do is show you guys how I cull really quickly. So on the left side, here I have the image selected. So all I'm doing is using my arrow down key, arrow up and down, just to zoom through. So if you can see here, you can just fly through these images really quickly. And now you're pretty much ready to go. So once all the images are loaded, and what you're going to do is with your left hand, this is what I do. T is what you're going to use to accept or reject the image. So if you press T, you'll get a tag here as a check mark. Now this will tell you that, hey, you've selected this image, and then you say, well, I changed my mind, maybe I don't want it. So you press T again, and it'll uncheck it here. So once you do this, this is what PhotoMechanic does. It selects it and pretty much considers it a tag. And I'll show you guys how to filter that in a second. But I'm just going to go through and cull really quickly, just a few images here. So I've gone through, I've selected some images that I like, the kids are being silly and it's in focus. Just hit T and you go down to the next one. And you just, go through all the images that tells the best story. My son likes to be silly, so I always select something of them just, being their best. And I like sun flares, and so I like to, really focus on sometimes, grabbing a few of those images and plants, and shows us some really cool pictures that we took from our trip. All right, so I've selected a few. So this is my son shooting and dart, and that's me kind of being silly. But once you're done selecting the images that you want, what you want to do then is go to this second window in the back here. Well, this is the primary window. This will be your second window. So if I click that, then as you notice, all the images are there. Boom, 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 boom. And then if I go up here to the top, I can do more filtering. So I can figure out caption time, modification time, and then sort by anything that you want. Arrange by ratings. Ratings is really cool. So if you have some really cool images that you really want to focus on, you can do that. And how you select that is if you look down here, right underneath the file name, if you click it, there are stars. Now these are your ratings. So you can always find the ones you want here because you selected. So in most cases, I don't do any ratings here because I've already rated it in camera for the ones that I want to use for teasers or whatever that I want to edit or something I want to focus on later. But you can go to your ratings and then it'll select the images that you want, that you've rated. But in this case, I'm not going to do the rating. I'm just going to do the regular caption time, or I can just do the file names. So if you do file names and you do a reset, so when it starts from 0, you'll get it all in sequential order. So depending on if you're using 2 cameras and you have different file names in your camera, it'll put it all in sequential order. So that way it makes sense. Or if you have like 2 bodies for you and your second shooter has 2 bodies and you guys don't have the same naming convention, this is where you could probably sort by capture time. So then that way you sync all the cameras together, and then once you're ready to cull, then you can sync everything on caption time. So that way it doesn't matter what the naming convention is, as long as the clocks are within like a fraction of a second between each other, then it'll tell the story a lot better, and you don't have any confusion, and it's a huge pain in the butt to clean it up in Lightroom by fixing the timestamp. But in this case, I'm not going to do any rating, so I'm going to turn off the rating, and I'm going to use the file name because it's under my camera. So D1 is my first camera that I use, and the other camera is called D2. Same for Chris 1, or Chris 2. But so I know that D1 is my primary camera that I use, and then D2 is the secondary camera that I use. So D1 has my prime lens, and then D2 has my wide angle lens. So that way I can just alternate between 2 bodies. So anyway, we have D1, and what I want to do is now locate the files that I've selected with the check mark. So now I'll go here and I'll go tag. So I'll select tag, and then now what it'll do is it'll pull up all the images that I've selected with my tag. So these are the images I want. Now this is the really cool part and also a really dangerous part, because you got to make sure that you don't copy these files into a location that doesn't exist, or some file that, or some place where you can't find it. So what you want to do is highlight all of them. So in this instance, I do Command A because I'm using a Mac. So I've selected all of them. And so now what I've done is I've created a folder under our family trip called Images to Edit. So what I'm going to do is drag those files into the image edit folder. And you can see I've grabbed 8, and I already have some populated in there already. But so I'm going to drag them in there, and then it's going to tell me, hey, I have some images in there. Do you want to replace them? So this is because I already have images in there, and probably some of them are duplicates. In this case, I'm just going to do apply all and just don't replace because some of the images are already in there, the ones that I've already selected. So if I go down to that folder, I can take a look. These are all the images I selected earlier, also matching up with the ones I just selected now. So this is perfect. So I have all the images in there that I want to edit and put into Lightroom. So what I'm going to do now, since everything is in there, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. And then once I launch Lightroom, then I'm going to pull all these files that I've culled into Lightroom and start my edits. And then just fly through my presets, and everything's automatically adjusting with the presets I've selected. All I have to do is just adjust the white balance a little bit and the temperature on some of the images, and then I'm done. And then I'm off to the next project, or I'm getting ready to do a few edits on a few of the different images where I want to trick out a few. So this is how this program works. Hopefully it's helpful for you guys. If you have any questions or concerns, just send us a message. But this program is fairly easy. You really don't have to put too much effort into just loading it, loading those raw files or JPEGs, whatever it is that you want to edit, and cull through really, really quickly. Just some things you just want to make sure that you have your folders named beforehand, so that way you don't have any confusion. So it's always nice to keep that consistency of naming your folders. That way you don't have any issues once you're copying the files over to those folders, instead of making up a name each time and confusing yourself. But if you have any questions, just drop us a line and let us know. Talk to you guys later.